Rinker, the author of Conversing with God, said, "I like to compare prayer to the wind. You cannot actually see the wind, but you can see the results of it." This quote reflects what I have learned within the first 10 years of my life. When I was very young, I didn't feel especially connected to God. My mom, however, disagrees. She said that I loved reading stories out of my children's Bible. I always looked forward to church, and I was constantly asking questions about God. Evidently, around the age of 3 or 4, when many children were trying to figure out how to hop on one foot, I asked her to explain the Trinity to me. I couldn't quite wrap my head around the whole 3 people being all one person. Her answer was, "Welcome to the club." But really, I knew God existed, and I knew He was really important. What I didn't realize was how important He would be to me in my life. My life was pretty normal until a few months after I turned 7. I was doing one of my favorite activities, camping with just me and my dad in our Indian Princess's tribe. My dad and I had gotten very close since the triplets were born, and we had been spending a lot of time together because my mom was very busy with the babies. Anyway, it was Saturday, and we had woken up early to go play on the play structure near our campsite. Once we got there, I saw a small spinning play structure, kind of like a teacup ride that I was afraid to go on. My dad said, "Charlie, you can do it. It's just a small little toy ride." "Here, I'll show you. It's not scary." So he got on with another girl from our tribe to show me how to be brave. A few minutes later, I decided to join them. Then my dad got off and said he needed to sit down. He calmly said, "I can't get up. Charlie, go get Paul." Paul was another dad in our tribe that was a doctor. I started back to camp, and my dad yelled, "Hurry, run." That is when I knew something was wrong. When I brought Paul and a few other dads back to the playground, my dad sent me back to get us from our blue tent so that we can call our mom. While I was rummaging through the tent, I was silently asking God to help my dad. I said it over and over again in my head. "Please, please, please, God, help my dad." After that, the ambulance had arrived, and they were putting Dad into the vehicle. When the ambulance was leaving, I had started to cry. I felt like it was my fault because it happened on the play structure. He only went on it because I was scared to do it. I didn't want to watch him drive away, so my big buddy Kalani put her cowboy hat on me and started hugging me. All the other girls were trying to make me feel better. They gave me candy, but that didn't make me feel much better. One of the other dads drove me home in my dad's car. While the whole ride, I was clutching my stuffed animal and hoping that everything was going to be all right. When I got home, my mom was about to drive away to the hospital. I really badly wanted to go with her, but she said she had to go alone, and I had to stay with the triplets and Grandpa Fred. The next day, my grandpa and grandma drove us to Grossmont Hospital. We didn't get to see my dad or even get out of the car. My mom met us at the entrance to the hospital and gave us hugs to tell us how much she loved us. It turns out that my dad had a blood clot in his aorta that had broken free and showered his entire lower body with smaller blood clots. He was paralyzed from the waist down and had damage to his kidneys, intestines, and other major organs. The triplets and I didn't know it at the time, but it looked like he wasn't going to live. I continued to pray by myself and with our babysitter Carol every day and night. Later I learned that all of our family, friends, and church were praying for him too. My dad was in a medically induced coma for about 4 days. My mom stayed with him the whole time. All of our family and friends came together to take care of us. I had to go back to school on Monday, and I was happy to have something to take off my mind, or to take my dad off my mind. My teacher and friends were really nice to me, but I couldn't focus at all. I remember wishing I could teleport to the hospital. I really needed to be with my mom and dad and nothing else, but praying helped. Finally, we got to visit him in the ICU. He was just starting to wake up from his coma. He had tubes, devices, and monitors attached to him everywhere. The triplets were asking all sorts of questions about the medical equipment. Even though I was scared, I was very happy to see him after all that time. They were really nice at Grossmont Hospital. Nobody under 18 was supposed to go into the ICU, and they allowed all of us to go in, sit on his bed, and hold his hand. My mom told us that Dad was still in very serious condition, but that many miracles had happened already, and that God was still answering our prayers. After the original incident, life was still pretty hard for a while. My dad was in and out of the hospital for routine procedures and even for emergencies. Somehow I knew everything would be all right, though. If God had gotten us through such a serious situation already, I knew He would get us through little setbacks. Since all of this happened, God has helped me through many other situations in life. One time, my little sister got her leg got stuck between a bench and a wall at swim lessons. Everyone was panicking and nothing was working. So I went behind a wall and prayed that God would give someone an idea on how to get her out. Right when I walked out, the lifeguard said, "Hey everyone, I have an idea." It was as if God answered my prayer immediately. Another time in which God proved His love for our family is when my usually healthy Grandpa John had a pulmonary embolism and 2 cardiac arrests, all in a few minutes. When we heard about it, my mom, cousins, and I sat down in the middle of Belmont Park and prayed for God to save our grandpa. Well, he was just in this very church 2 weeks ago listening to us play bells. I know our prayers brought a miracle. I have truly learned to trust God. Whether I'm on the pitching mound or working out a disagreement with my friends, I know that God is there. Now I understand the Trinity better. God is our Father. He sent His Son to save us, and the Holy Spirit lives within us to guide us every day. Through all of my praying, I have learned not to worry and let God be in charge. The well-known author and Bible teacher Rick Renner once said, "Dedication is writing your name on the bottom of a blank sheet of paper and handing it to the Lord for Him to fill in." Thank you for listening to my story.